Hi, everybody. This is Mike. Today we have a very good customer of ours in town, Tim Harrison. He is the senior category manager, category buyer, I guess I should say, at Intersnack. So thanks for coming by, Tim.
For the tree nuts.
For the tree nuts, yes.
For
Thank
the
you.
Tree nuts, yes.
Yeah.
So I have responsibility for almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and pecans.
Okay.
Yes.
And can you tell us maybe a little bit about Intersnack, where you guys are out of, what you guys do?
Yes, Intersnack is actually it's Europe's largest snack provider when you look at branded and private label. So we have about, I would say it's about 60% branded and about 40% private label at the moment is the way our portfolio is divvied up.
Yeah.
We're in nearly every country in Europe apart from Italy and Greece, which we haven't gotten to yet. We've also just bought companies in Australia and New Zealand.
Oh,
So
wow.
we are going global.
Wow.
Yes.
And you guys are a family-owned business?
It is a family-owned business,
Wow.
Privately held company. Yeah.
And it's more than just tree nuts, right? I mean, you guys
Oh,
are
yes.
doing...
We do the full range of snacks from potato chips to popcorn to extruded pellets, the whole range of things, dips, all of those things. Yeah.
Okay. And are you guys, like when you guys buy our almonds, right, we ship them to you and you guys are going to be putting them, you guys going to be roasting them, salting them, putting them in a bag? I mean, what kind of...
Yes, there will be a range of things that we'll be doing with them. So we'll be doing roasting and salting is a lot of what we do. We do have some ready to eat, so pasteurized, but that is our primary business is taking those in from you. They're coming into Rotterdam, and from Rotterdam they're moving on to our Dutch facility. From there, they may be going off to the Polish or German facilities for roasting and packaging. It really depends on what the final product is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's great when we bring customers on, gives everybody a little bit of a different perspective, right? Because we always talk from kind of our side of the table, kind of supply side. And I think, more than ever, we've been having question marks about demand. What's going on? We were down. We shipped 2.6 billion pounds this year in the 21 crop. And so just kind of thinking, looking forward, right? We just saw our last position or the first position report, I should say, for the 22 crop, and up 10%. Is that something that we should be expecting? Or what are you guys seeing in terms of demand in Europe?
Well, yes. What I would say is that for one of the things that I am tasked with doing is taking the information that's coming out of California and carrying that on to our sales team so that they can carry it on to the retailers who are our customers. Likewise, I want to be able to bring that information back about what's happening in Europe here to California. So I do let the Europeans know, yes, there is this terrible drought and there are all of these problems that are going on here in California. And now that in the most recent webinar that I gave for them, for the sales and marketing team, I feel that is really going to start to resonate because we're having an extreme drought in Europe as well. Right. So all of those buyers from the large retailers have been on their vacations during the summer, and they've been to the south of France or to other parts of Europe where they have seen where once was a river is now a puddle. Right. And so this is, I think, going to resonate with them. The things that I want to kind of communicate back to California is the dire situation that we have going on in Europe, and it really is becoming dire. I know that in the U.S. the tendency can be to focus on the national politics, but what we have, we should never forget what's going on in this war in Ukraine and how it's directly affecting Europe. We have to be looking at the impacts on Germany and the Netherlands because those are two of the biggest drivers of the European economies, and what we're seeing there is steep inflation overall and an energy crisis that's looming for the winter time. Doing everything we can to really balance that out. But there is a definite, there's a pessimism in Europe about a coming recession because these energy bills for the consumers will be coming due in January for many consumers, and it's going to be quite difficult for them to pay this. And that comes at the expense of other things. So there is a feel that there's going to be a strong recession, and the problem with the recession is it kills new product development. So I'm really worried about the new product development pipelines, but also the dampening of sales overall. And I think what we're trying to do in Europe right now is what I think is happening here in the United States. You're trying to figure out what it is that the consumer really wants and what is the consumer doing.
Right.
I would say that the consumers in Europe, if you would go out in Europe to any city right now, you would say there's no recession looming. The restaurants are full, the bars are full, people are out enjoying themselves, everybody's on vacation. Yeah, this is kind of that last hurrah. A lot of people booked these vacations in 2020 and had to use those credits up before this, and so this is a bit of the last, that pent up demand to be able to go out and do something that's really happening right now. But there is this looming crisis because we really can't take our eyes off of that war in Ukraine. That is really what is steering so much of what we're doing, and it's not just on the nuts; it's on wheat, corn, the frying oils, the energy that it takes to fry the products. It's really affecting everything.
But do you think at the price you're seeing almonds at today, you'll see some sort of substitution for other products? Or do you?
I think that it's really hard to get that, to take that pulse and see what's really happening with the consumers. But I think that, there is a perception in the consumer's mind that almonds are a premium product. So even if it is a rock bottom price, it's still perceived as something far more luxurious than popcorn or potato chips.
Yeah.
So there is that.
So we're seeing in the United States retailers kind of keeping retail prices of almonds kind of at higher levels than what will reflect the general market is trading at today. Are you seeing something similar in Europe?
Some of the big discounters seem to have been adjusting their prices downwards on the almonds. This is just anecdotal evidence of going around to shops and looking. But it seems that some of the big retailers are adjusting down and putting some of the good quality nuts down at a bit of a more affordable price. The more mainstream retailers appear to be taking the margins right now. And we have to remember that these nuts that they bought at a much better exchange rate back then. So these nuts, they're going to squeeze as much value out of these nuts as they can.
So we are maybe throttling some consumption back in some parts of retail with a inflated price.
Yes, it has to be understood. I know that the prices are so low here in California, but from our perspective, we have had a 20% price increase on those same nuts, even though your prices have been stable.
Right. And that's been basically in a 12-month period, right?
In a 12-month period.
Where the dollar was basically $1.20 to a euro, right? And now today the dollar is basically
at parity or sometimes dipping
stronger.
A little bit low. And that's a very big psychological impact when it goes below, when the euro goes below the dollar.
So what changes, right? I mean, a lot of pessimism. What is the catalyst do you think is going to kind of change that mentality?
Well, I think it's going to have to happen at the retailers, and I think that they're going to have to come out with very good options for the Christmas season, for example, for all of autumn, and that Christmas season starts earlier and earlier every year. Yeah. So if we start to see that the weather changes more into the traditional fall weather instead of this heat wave and everything that we've been experiencing in Europe, it kind of changes people's mentality towards those more autumn or Christmas activities, and that affects the way that they're doing the snacking as well. But it's really going to come down to how the retailers are presenting their products, because they're going to be chasing consumers who have far less to spend overall.
Right. And do you think that retailers have been changing the way that they've been buying, maybe from 2 years ago with, the logistical issues that we had during COVID, things like that? I know we've been talking about just in time is changing to kind of just in case, but really at the end of the day, I mean, has that retail buying pattern changed at all in the last 24 months?
The buying pattern, you mean by the consumers?
Or
the way retailers buying for themselves. That has changed. I think that with it, the declining exchange rate has been one of the biggest catalysts. Yeah. When they start to see that happening, you see some who make smart moves and start booking things out farther. And I've seen that in various markets by various retailers. Not so much on the almonds, but on some of the other nuts, they've taken longer term coverages, and I think that they're smart for having done that when they did that earlier, and it was far earlier than it's ever been done before.
From a currency perspective,
From the currency perspective, yeah. But that's really where we're going to be trying to stabilize things. If this currency will stabilize, then we're going to absorb this time. By this time next year, we will have absorbed that 20% price increase already. So it will have, sort of filtered through that entire process.
It'll be the new normal, basically.
Yes, whatever that has in the 2020s,
Yeah.
whatever the next normal thing is. But I think it really is going to take a while for this sticker shock to come off. And of course, the consumers have, if they're going to be facing very big energy bills, there are a lot of things that have been legislated now in Britain and in Germany and other countries to keep a cap on those energy costs. But it's still an increase.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, there's just
I mean, it's not a 10-20% increase in energy bills. It's 2 or 3 times what it used to be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's substantial increases in people's energy costs.
Yeah.
So to me, it just sounds like, as you know, we've talked with you like throughout the day today, and our other customers. It's really not about the price of almonds today, right? I mean, almonds are at such an attractive level that you should be seeing a lot of consumption, and even compared to maybe a cashew, the most closest competing other item out there for almonds. So it's really not about almond pricing today.
It's not about the almond pricing. I think it's a couple of things that are hitting it all at once. The supply chain was very erratic, and so now you find loads and loads of almonds, more almonds in Europe at the moment than we can deal with. When people come to me with options, for a really great deal on some almonds, I can't take that until January. That is the key thing. I cannot take more almonds.
Yeah.
If you paid me, I couldn't take more almonds until January.
And that's because your warehouses is full.
Warehouses are full.
And you're just not getting the pull through.
Yeah, and we have to be monitoring that pull through. I physically don't have the space to do all of that because, and it's not only on the almonds. This has been happening with all of the various nuts. They seem to have all shown up at once and really just filled the entire supply chain.
You're seeing that here in the U.S. retail space with Target and Walmart, Home Depot, right? All of a sudden, I think people kind of, I don't know if they didn't mismanage it, because it just all of a sudden the supply chain opened up again. It normalized, and you see that in the August position report. It looks like things are back to normal. You don't have the vessels delaying or advancing or just completely skipping the port. So all of a sudden, what you thought you were planning well for, all of a sudden is arriving at your doorstep.
Yeah. There's a huge imbalance, and one of the imbalances was in the supply chain. That seems to be leveling off. There are far too many almonds in Europe already, and the consumers have to consume those, and that will start to level off. But to get back to something normal, to get this balance, it's going to be very tricky to do it without a lot of pain, without something like a recession, and a recession killing off the demand. That will help the supply chain. Well, that's a terrible way to help the supply chain. But it will eventually balance out. So we're hoping that we're able to keep this to the least painful way. It's going to be pain. And I want to let your viewers know as well, the growers, it is pain on both sides. This isn't just that the buyers are all dancing around saying, it's never going to be this cheap again. Let's, celebrate. It is pain, because we are seeing this exactly with our own consumers in Europe as well.
Right. Well, I don't really want to end on a down note, but would you be able to kind of give us your prediction? Won't hold you to it, but of, when we may see some light at the end of the tunnel?
I think one of the things that we're starting to see is Germany is getting itself off of Russian dependence on their oil. So that is a good thing. They're at about 80% capacity for their natural gas and energy resources now, which is a big improvement to where we were a few months ago. If handled properly, the difficulties that Europe is facing might not be too bad. That's very tentative to say right now. They might not be too bad, and we could see a quick rebound. But what we're seeing is a complete change to what we've known as normal for the last 40 years of a just-in-time type of environment.
Right.
And coming out of just-in-case, whether we ever really get fully out of just-in-case or if that's always part of our plan is just-in-case, that is going to come at a cost. And so we're having to learn what it is that the consumer wants, how we're going to be able to deal with these shippings.
Yeah.
We have to get all of these imbalances corrected as in a way that's the least painful possible before we can really come back in. I would hate to see something like new product development being choked off because
Right.
of a deep, long recession.
So really, the best thing that can happen for us is a stable winter in Europe. Maybe a warmer than expected.
That would be all right
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
A warmer
Warmer
than expected winter in Europe would be good. A rainy winter in Europe would be good.
Solve a drought issue.
To solve these drought problems. This drought came at the absolute worst possible time. But to have a quick resolution to that drought would also be very helpful as well.
Well, let's hope for the good things and plan for the worst, but hope it comes out in our favor. So,
Yes.
Tim, we really appreciate your business. Thank you for coming out here.
Thank you for inviting me out here. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying going up and down the valley. It's been an education.
It's
already.
been pretty hot since you've been here, but
I've been here this whole week, and it's been really hot this whole week. Yeah. But very enjoyable, very interesting, great learning. Only thing I can say is, hey, Californians, please stop going on the highway, getting in the left lane, and then setting the speed control to 50. So,
we all complain about it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Tim. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Yep.